What's up, soldiers? Your boy Chris here, vibes it up in the kitchen. On the way back from the gym this morning. It is Saturday morning. I'm at home alone. I noticed before I left for the gym, I had a piece of salt beef or salted beef in the fridge. Coming back from the gym, passing and I pick up some eddoes and the vital ingredients for making a Caribbean salt beef soup. So let me vibes it up, man. Nobody here, I'm on here by myself. So nobody to complain about, no, I'm not eating that today, Dad. I live in it. Let me vibes it up. In my pot, I've got 1 pound of salted beef. There's bones on both of those there. I sort of boil it in some water for about 20 minutes. Discarded that water to take out some of the salt. This is why it's looking that sort of pale color. It's quite fatty as well too. You may want to trim off some of that fat if you want. But the whole idea here is to build that sort of flavor base, and that's what we're doing. So I'm going to go in with 4 cloves of garlic that I just smashed with my knife, and 1 medium onion that I diced up. Low heat, and I'm just trying to sort of sweat this down and bring all those flavors together. Here's where I'm also going to go in with some black pepper, and if you have fresh ground, play yourself. Couldn't find my pepper grinder anywhere, so using the already ground stuff, some fresh thyme, and let that keep going. Now in total we want to sweat that down for about 5 minutes or so with the onions and garlic and everything. Next up, I've got here just about 1 1/4 cups of yellow split peas already washed, and that's going to help add some wicked body to this soup, because our Caribbean soup, if you're new to Caribbean cooking, is pretty much the same sort of consistency and texture and body as in North American or European stew. Got 1 scotch bonnet pepper that I chopped up. You can float it whole in there, so you just put that whole scotch bonnet pepper in there, let it float. Try not to break it if you want the flavor and not the heat. I want that kick from it, so I cut it up. And I'm also going to go in with a heaping tablespoon of Caribbean green seasoning. Turn your heat up at this point, and we're going to go in with the sort of braising liquid now, or the main ingredient in a soup, which is the liquid, the water. We just want to bring that up to a rolling boil and let that go for about 45 minutes. It will take that beef quite a while to tender up, as well as that yellow split peas. As it comes up to a boil and you start seeing that sort of scum on the top, you may want to just skim that out and discard it. At this point, I like going in with my carrots as well, because that takes relatively long to cook. Bring that up to a boil, as I said. You don't need to put the lid on there, and let that go on a rolling boil. As the beef and peas and everything there boils and becomes tender, if you wanted, you can go ahead and prepare your ground provisions. Today I have here a taro, which is very similar to dasheen, some eddoes, a few small potatoes I found in the fridge there, and a couple sweet potatoes. If you wanted, you can go in with cassava, you can go in with dasheen, you can go in with just about anything, like green bananas if you want. It's totally up to you, man. But if you're peeling it in advance, as I am doing here, you want to put it in a bowl with cool water so they don't go discolored on you. It's been about 45 minutes. It's nice and thick. The peas are breaking down nicely now, and you're getting all that flavor from those pieces of salted beef. Now remember, since that is salted beef, and though I pre-boiled it a little bit and discarded that water, and long story short, we don't need any salt, or near the end you can adjust it. I will not be adding any more salt to this. Here I've got the peeled ground provisions soaking in water, as I said, because this way it doesn't go discolored. It's now time to add it to the pot, add some more liquid, and bring everything back up to a boil. We'll definitely need more liquid here, so I'm just going to turn my heater back to high, and I'm going to go in with some more boiling water. You just want to cover everything and bring that up to a boil, basically. As it starts coming back up to a boil, you're going to see that sort of frothy stuff on the top. You just want to skim that out and toss that. Give it a good stir. And this is where I like adding a little bit of fresh scallion to my pot, just for a little bit more brightness. As it comes to a boil, let it go on a rolling boil. Turn the heat down to a rolling boil and let that go for about 20-25 minutes or so until all those pieces of ground provision are nice and tender. You will notice I did cut them all up the same size so they cook pretty much evenly. So there you go, friends, a thick, hearty something, especially for soup Saturdays, as we say down in the Caribbean. Very rich, very thick, as I said. Taste it for salt, adjust it accordingly, make sure your ground provisions are nice and tender. And if you wanted the final 10 minutes, you could add flour dumplings in there. Some spinners would be ideal. I have enough starch. I'm not trying to put on back any more weight. So Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Salt beef, ground provisions, and split peas. Cannot go wrong. Bless up, man.